Hello and welcome to the weekly update, the show where we talk about some practical news updates that might help you in your digital life.
Let's get it.
All right. First topic that we pulled out from the week that we think is worth talking about is for those folks who are heavy Facebook users.
That's us, because most of our biggest landing page is the White Hatters Facebook. Like we have 34,000 people that follow us there now, right? It's kind of like extremely popular. What's going on?
So Facebook's testing at the moment, potentially requiring a user to be verified before posting links to external sources.
Okay, so hold on a second here. We're not verified on Facebook. I know that costs money. So
Yes.
What does that mean? If they go ahead with this, what would that cost us?
So groups, pages, organizations, Facebook verified is about $11, $15-ish a month.
So $15 times 12. So you'd have to pay over $200 a year American to be verified for Facebook in order for you to post links.
You will be allowed, I think they mentioned, or testing with free users can post like 2 links a month.
Well, that's not good for us though, right? Because we post almost a link every single day. We post links all the time.
Yeah, or we post links to news sources, or we post links to
They
research articles.
They can't be Canadian news sources, or Facebook nukes them, right?
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Could this be a way of allowing Facebook to pay for Canada's link tax?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, if I'm paying to allow me to link, then should I not be allowed to link Canadian content, right?
Well, Facebook is claiming they pulled out of Canada's agreement to pay for links.
They did. Every time because I forget sometimes, so I'll put a link in there to a Canadian article, and then it publishes, and then all of a sudden I'll go back and refresh. Boop, it's gone, and I went, oh yeah, it's a Canadian news article.
You got to take a screenshot of a news article and post it as a picture.
Yeah. Unless it's if it's outside of Canada, then you're okay, right? But if it's Canadian based, you can't put it in there, which is kind of really like, I can't use the word.
No, we're on YouTube.
Sounds like kitty.
So
it's really kitty.
So if you are someone who's active in a particular Facebook group, organization, and you share a lot of links, this is a test going on right now. However, for the user experience, if you're someone who isn't an active poster, this might be an interesting better user experience because people are bombarded with links every day.
But again, it comes on the back of businesses, right? Like for smaller companies and businesses, this gonna, $200 a year, it may not sound like a lot, but it can be over time, right? So it's interesting how, all of a sudden they went from a freemium usage to now where they're charging. So if they're charging now, and so like you say, does it give us more abilities now to link Canadian news stories, right? Like if that would happen, I kind of go, okay, yeah, I'd be okay with that.
But being, the corporate cynic, I can definitely see this as a way of basically Facebook Meta keeping people on their platform.
That's exactly what
because they do not like links because it takes you off of Facebook, goes to some other website, and then it's less ads Facebook gets to show you.
Right.
So I can see why Facebook wants to do this financially. I can see this as a possibility to pay for Canada's link tax, and then maybe Canadian groups can actually share Canadian news. That could be interesting.
It'll be interesting. A juggernaut, right? An Uber Lord juggernaut of a social media platform, once again, going after money, right? Not that they monetize everything they're doing. I mean, they just announced, we spoke about this 1 or 2 shows ago, like everything we're putting into any kind of a meta product, be it Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, they're collecting all of it and using it to train their AI, right? So
for Facebook users, keep that on the lookout.
With the amount of information they're taking from us, because the amount of time we're posting, we should be getting paid by them. Right, because of all the data they're sucking from us, and we're not financially benefiting from it whatsoever. So, anyways,
okay. So, ChatGPT,
Told ya.
OpenAI is finally kind of more officially announced. They had some plugins earlier, but now it's an actual full blown app store like Apple, like Google Play. The monetization strategy has not yet been formalized, but I wouldn't be surprised if you make an app for ChatGPT and you make money off of that. They'll probably take a 30%-ish cut from that.
Oh yeah, no,
that's what Apple does.
As soon as they announced their little test of it, I called this, right? I said they're creating their own app store. They're going to go head to head with Apple. They're going to go head to head with Google. They're creating their own their own ecosystem for people to join. I mean, the next step is social AI, right? Like, that's why I keep saying, and I've been writing lots on this recently, that I think legacy social media like Facebook, like Instagram, like Snapchat, like TikTok, they're going to go by the way of the dodo bird. I think we're going to see what I'm calling social AI starting to pop up more. And as a result of that, again, ChatGPT or OpenAI that owns ChatGPT will kind of corner the market on that, right? So, I mean, the other thing that you'll be able to do all your purchasing, everything right from within OpenAI, right?
Yeah,
So,
well, it's a platform, and
called
there's
it.
an app store, so
Yeah,
anyone
called it.
can build a program now via ChatGPT
Right.
to connect it. So
I mean, this fits very nicely into their browser, right? Atlas, right?
Yep.
Their OpenAI Atlas. So
Yep.
that's what they're doing. They're going head to head, right,
Wasn't-
with Apple and
weren't
and
they
Google.
about to announce like a physical product?
OpenAI, they hired the guy from Apple who created the first iPhone.
Yep.
They hired him, and remember he owned a company called IO.
Right.
Or he was working for a company called IO. They hired him, and OpenAI that owns ChatGPT. What they've said is that they were hoping next year. Well, I'll be following it closely. They may have to push it a little bit. But they said that they're going to be coming out with a wearable product that will make cell phones obsolete. Like, they're going to come out with something that is screenless, right? Like, it's going to be very interesting, right? The disruption, if this thing does what people are talking about, it's going to be that's why I've been saying, like, cell phones. I think the smartphones are going to go by the way of the dodo bird. I think we'll end up going back to the old flip phone, cell phones, or even then we won't even need that. I think this product that OpenAI is creating will do all that kind of stuff. It'll be interesting because what you need the screen for is primarily to watch videos or if you're following Google Maps. So are they going to be able to kind of connect it into a set of glasses so that you'll be able to see what's going on in front of you,
they could launch
right?
their own glasses.
Right?
What about like a wristband?
Yeah, there's all kinds of talk. They're talking about, there's some talk that it's going to connect behind your ear so you're going to look like 7 of 9 from the
like this?
Borg, right? Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah, kind of like that idea, right? Like it's going to be very interesting to see what they come out with. But wearables is the next, it's the next progression. We're already seeing this happen, and a lot of companies are throwing all their money into glasses, right? That's where a lot of it is.
That makes sense. If they're going to launch a physical product, having a app store available ready now to support that,
absolutely,
because you can launch a product.
That's
there's
what
nothing
I called.
for it.
That's what I called. Right. That's why that's exactly what they're doing. Right. Like you can see all they're building the road. Right. Like they're what they've done is first they dug it up. They're now laying the foundation, the gravel, right? And now they're just about getting ready to put the pavement on it. And then what will happen is they'll have the vehicle that's going to drive it, whatever this new device is.
Yeah,
that's my analogy.
I guess when the iPhone launched, it had like an app store.
Yeah.
And then when the phone launched, people jumped on to make apps for it.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
look forward to the future for that. Okay, so speaking of ChatGPT, you can now tweak the warmth and enthusiastic level in its responses to you.
This doesn't surprise me because I don't know if you saw this, but Instagram through Meta, again owns Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, they're now allowing you to control the algorithms about what the algorithm will spit out to you.
Okay.
So this doesn't surprise me either because, again, this is going to be a way for them to kind of say, hey, listen, we are now creating products that will allow to be adjustable to the individual user.
Yep. So you can adjust the warmth, more or less, or default. Enthusiasm, more or less, or default. You can adjust the settings around headers and lists. Yeah. And you can also adjust the amount of emoji use, which I have noticed that there's been a lot more like emojis to kind of symbolize different prompts.
Yeah.
So, okay. This should probably help because I know one of the biggest criticisms of OpenAI and all these chatbots is just how it just promotes you, or it just makes you sound like you're the best person in the world. Like, that's a fantastic answer. What a creative thought.
It's very affirmational.
Yeah.
Right? It's an echo chamber of affirmations, right? Like you can't say or do anything bad. Everything you do is good.
Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully this will help adjust that. So maybe you can, if you like that, okay, great.
Right.
But if you want more of like a pure robotic scientific answer, maybe there'll be less of that self-promotional fluff.
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah, it doesn't.
I like that.
It doesn't surprise me. Like I say, Meta's kind of allowing you now to control the the degree in which your algorithms will work for or against you. So it's interesting to see what's going on. You know, these are things they could have done years ago, right? But they didn't because there wasn't any pressure. I think one of the reasons we're seeing this is because of all the laws that are coming across the globe right now on age restrictions, you know, what's going on in Australia and Europe and elsewhere and stuff like that. So, yeah.
For users who are Amazon product users, Ring Doorbell now allows Alexa Plus, which is their Alexa premium subscription AI, to answer the doorbell for you.
Why?
So,
why?
Well, what it does is because if you are in the Alexa Amazon ecosystem, it knows when you're home or not.
Yeah.
So it can more intelligently respond to people who are knocking on your door.
Yeah, but I'm sorry. I would rather actually answer the doorbell myself so I can hear it and sense and use my gut instinct rather than having Alexa do it for me. Hi, it's the Easter Bunny.
Alexa Plus greetings lets Alexa answer the door and talk to visitors when you're not home. God. When someone rings the bell, the Alexa analyzes the camera and video audio feed, determines what is happening, and responds using conversational AI. The examples would be ask a delivery driver where to leave packages, tell salespeople when you're unavailable, and I don't like that one. Just say go away, don't come back.
That's what I was going to say. Go away.
Or greet familiar visitors and take a message. Now, maybe
it's kind of like an answering machine then.
I don't know. I have noticed.
At the sound of the doorbell, leave a message. Beep.
Basically that. But you have to pay for Amazon Alexa's Plus.
Of course you do.
So, from what I've seen, my experience, I don't think that is if you're going to pay for an AI, I don't think that's the one to pay for.
No. No.
So but hey, if you do happen to pay or you want to use the Alexa Plus trial version, which I know on my Alexa in the kitchen, it's like, hey, Alexa Plus is available. It's like, ads. Not a fan.
No.
But hey, that is available.
Do you have Alexa?
In the kitchen.
You do?
I have the one with the screen.
Oh. What do you use it for?
I use it for music primarily. Yeah. I will use it for radio. I will use it for
cooking.
Yes, if I have a quick question, I will use it for that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I have the one that's the bigger one that has a bigger speaker on it.
Gotcha.
Just for sound. It's mostly just a smart speaker.
Gotcha.
I don't actually use it for any like AI features.
Okay.
It's just play sounds.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So yeah, U.S. and Canada, and only on select Ring doorbell models. So like the newer ones.
Right.
So hey, if you want to try that, you could. Although I have noticed that there's definitely a generational change in just random visitors to your home.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's a feature.
No. Pass. Hard pass.
Going back to OpenAI's ChatGPT.
Yes.
They're updating their model spec for teen protections in place.
Yeah, one of our favorite colleagues in the United States, Dr. Samir Hinduja from the Cyberbullying Institute, was actually talking about this, right? Saying that this is actually kind of a positive move. But the proof is always in the pudding, right? Like the devil's in the details. So it's one thing for him to say this, but it's going to be another thing to see what happens.
I do think we live in a climate right now of we expect 100% perfection in any policy, tool, rules, and I think whenever there's something that goes wrong, even if there are protections in place, there tends to be like a witch hunt around mistakes.
No.
I don't know. It's like whenever there's anything that is just a little bit wrong or incorrect or something that's a little logically not sound, that apparently it's the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
So, okay, we'll see how it goes. And I know a lot of people are criticizing, going, well, teens can just sign out of the account, create a new free account that the parents don't know about.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, so ChatGPT should prevent that. It's like, what?
Yeah.
How do you expect them to do that? Yeah. Sorry, we don't allow you to log out of your child.
It's like having a car parked in your parking lot in your driveway and your 15-year-old neighbor decides to break in and drive it away. Is that the car's fault?
No.
No. Right? Like, yeah, no. I mean, do I think that this is a good move? Yeah, because currently AI has no scaffolding. It has no it has no boundaries whatsoever, right? So especially when it comes to kids, and a lot of these AI systems were never designed for kids in mind, except for specifically designed ones like Angel Q or Kinzu Kai, which was designed specifically AI for youth, right? Built by design. But, things like OpenAI, ChatGPT, and some of the others were never built for youth. And so because of that fact, they have no scaffolding in place. And because there's no scaffolding, young people can really go into places that and interact and do things that really teens shouldn't be doing on these platforms. So
do you think they could be doing something beyond this that they should be?
Again, it's going to be interesting to see how do they enforce this, right?
Well, they just filter out the content. So, for example...
But then that comes down to a person joining up and not lying about their age, right?
Right. So
are they going to have age verification in place? And if they are, what is that age verification? And if it is, then what am I giving up to do that age verification? That's one of the issues that I have with this, right? I'm not a big believer in age gating. I'm just not, right? Because by age gating, what you're doing is you're policing the person using it rather than policing the actual platform. That's what we should be doing is we should be legislating the heck out of these social media behemoths and juggernauts, right? To hold them accountable for what it is that they're designing, how they're designing it, making sure it's safety by design, all those types of issues.
But then
right?
that goes down to the route of okay, well, if you're gonna limit sales tactics, that should then trickle down to car salespeople. That should trickle down to advertising. That should trickle down to.
But I'm not going after
malls,
their sales. What I'm saying to them is that no, if you're going to put a product out there, you got to make sure that there's safety by design built into it.
But what does that mean?
Well, that's the question, right? What does that mean? I mean, Australia, the e-commissioner, they have a really good definition. I just don't have it right now of what they think safety by design is for kids. But vehicles, they have certain safety by design scaffolding that they have to make sure that they have in place, because if not, they're breaking the law and they could be sued as well, right? So social media platforms, no such thing exists right now, right? So now there's exceptions to the rule where there are some companies that are designing products for youth and teens with safety by design, right? But those are few and far between.
Okay. So interesting news. You might be able to
I read about this.
Have your podcast consumption on Netflix. So with podcasts growing in vast popularity, and Netflix has signed agreements with iHeartRadio and Barstool Sports, in order to have video podcasts hosted on their service. Some potentially looking to be exclusive. Reason why, because consumption of traditional TV broadcast news, consumption of traditional radio news is declining. So Netflix is looking to get in on the creative thought radio-like content.
Yeah, we see this going on with legacy media right now, right? A lot of the big players out there like CNN, Fox, CNSBC, all those, they're losing viewerships right now. A lot of people, when they're looking for the news, they turn to the internet, right? Podcasting has become a primary place. The problem with that is it becomes very echo chamber-ish in nature, very polarized. But, as somebody who podcasts, what's my advantage of going with Netflix compared to having my own, right?
Well, it's because you get a guaranteed paycheck. Netflix will sign you, and they're partnering with iHeartRadio and Barstool Sports, which are they're not independent. They're a big, massive corporations where they have these legal agreements. So it's not like you as a lonely little podcaster can just go on Netflix. You need to go through a mediator, some sort of third party like iHeartRadio, and be signed. So the reason why is because those are multi-million-dollar podcast hosting deals.
Yeah, I just don't see Rogan going with Netflix. I just don't see that, right?
Well, I don't think he's with iHeartRadio or Barstool.
Yeah,
but I believe he is signed with some organization.
Yeah.
So that's why. And apparently, looking at some numbers, YouTube has reported that 70 million hours of podcast viewing per month on TVs in 2025. And I have seen reports, one of the most popular modes of consuming YouTube is the YouTube app on smart TVs.
So there's another great example of showing how much smart TVs know about us, right? About how much information these smart TVs are collecting about us, right? And how the big players like YouTube are collecting that information and using it to their advantage, right?
Well, yeah. Well, hey, if it makes sense for Netflix, because if YouTube has 700 million hours of podcast viewing, why wouldn't Netflix try to catch in on that?
Right.
I mean, I'm seeing Netflix releasing this winter Fireplace Slop.
I know.
Where all the major hit Netflix TV shows and movies have their own holiday fireplace, like the Stranger Things fireplace or the K-pop Demon Hunters fireplace.
Or what's the one where I thought it was going to be an actual movie?
Did you actually follow through on that?
It
right. Was the fireplace on Prime?
It was.
What is this with all these three big services having slop fireplaces?
Which one was it again? That was with
the Fallout.
The Fallout, yeah. You see their new series just launched.
I have not started.
Yeah.
I'll probably watch it once all the episodes are released.
Now, when you play the fire log for that, the first 5 minutes is kind of the interviewing, or it's the characters in the show doing some stuff, and then all of a sudden you see this arm being thrown on a fire and stuff, and then it's the fire log basically with arms and body parts burning.
So if Netflix is going in on a fireplace slop, I'm not surprised they want to go on just podcasts.
Yeah.
So you might see a podcasting come up on your Netflix app pretty soon.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind. Notebook LM.
You know, I really like Notebook LLM.
One of our favorite AI apps. Yeah. Integrating Gemini 3 and adds new table output formats.
It's pretty cool.
Leveraging Google's massive ecosystem and interoperability, you can actually put documents into LM and have it generate content and export data into Google Slides.
Now, you're all over me when there's times where I'm writing articles and I'm trying to get a cover picture for the article, and I just can't find anything that I can do myself, right? And so there's been a couple times there where I go into an AI and have them generate an image for me, and then you're all over me going, Dad, we can't do that because, there's issues. And, okay, great. Well, aren't you doing the same thing with this when all of a sudden you're putting stuff in and it's creating these tables out for you, which are graphic?
For me, I view AI in doing something where you can't do it yourself. So if
you can generate your own data tables,
and that's fine. But it's like I want to use art. I think art is that really challenging part, because I cannot paint a fantastic image.
No, but you paint a good floor.
It's green for green screens. I cannot design a beautiful image. Like, I don't have that creative ability. So using AI to do that for me, knowing the challenges that come with that around copyright and all that stuff. Now, where I am more available to do that is with, say, like Adobe's products, where all the content that's produced is trained on paid license content.
Right.
So that's different. If I'm using AI to generate an image and its model is trained on images that are publicly available on the internet being scanned by people posted their stuff and it's being scanned.
I mean, this is a pretty cool function, right? I mean, there's lots of times where we're using data in our presentations, and pictures tell 1,000 words, right? Rather than just numbers. You create these graphs and that kind of stuff, and it shows a picture, right? So this is a cool option that can take data that we plug into it and very quickly push out a table that we want designed, and poof, there it is, and it's good to go.
Yeah. The challenge is making sure the data is actually correct. Now, I do find these types of AIs where it's generating content based on solely what is in the document. Like, it's not searching the internet where 3 different websites have 3 different opinions on a topic. It's, here's a document, tell me what this document's talking about. It's only scanning that document, right? It's not getting ideas from elsewhere.
Right. So you're getting the data specifically from the document, and so therefore the table or the graph is specific to the, let's say, the research we put in there.
Yeah, which from what I've seen in my experience is more likely to be accurate.
Right.
Because if I go to OpenAI and I say, hey, generate me a table on the cell phone consumption use of teens over the last 10 years.
Finds everything online it can find. And then it gives you an average.
Right.
Yeah.
Or you could have some bogus website have some false numbers, and it takes that into consideration.
Right. So that's where the hallucinations come into play.
Precisely. But if I have 3 research papers with data,
Right.
and I plug that into LM, and I
Yep.
say, hey, generate me a graph, it's only looking at the data that I knew that I put into it. So it's, I do see it as a much better use of AI. So keep that
Interesting.
in mind for people who are doing research. And I mean, you had an interview not that long ago with a teen who's not using Notebook LM to cheat, but to enhance their learning, to better streamline their memory process.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. That interview is coming out real soon.
it is indeed.
Another great interview with another teen who's using technology in a positive way. Oh my God, really? Right? Kind of, yeah, really. Most teens are doing super cool things with technology. They're not broken like a lot of people think these kids are, right? Yes, a small cohort, there's problems, but most of them are doing some pretty cool stuff.
Small cohort are broken.
Well,
Well, that's the logic of what you said.
I know. It's kind of like that. I just watched a Christmas show, the Island of Broken Toys. Right? Where
Yeah.
Santa had all the broken toys, and
Yeah.
the broken toys were actually doing better work than the regular toys were, right? Kind of thing. It was kind of I went, hey, yeah, just because you're broken doesn't necessarily mean that you can't do things. In fact, a lot of people who have a disability can sometimes do far better things than those people who have full abilities, right?
Mm-hmm.
Next.
Okay, Chrome extension
Boo,
slurps
Chrome,
up AI
boo.
chats after users installed it. Now, funny thing is, this was a VPN proxy app designed to enhance your privacy on the internet. From a recent update, the app began to absorb the chats people were putting into their AIs.
That's what AI does, right? Like, does that really surprise anybody?
So, but this was a plugin on a browser that
But
was a
it's still
VPN proxy.
But it's still an AI.
No,
plugin?
it was sucking up the AI chats people putting into their AIs. If this was intentional or not, we don't know.
Intentional.
But reportedly from Koi Security, the people who discovered this.
Koi, as in
Koi.
the fish?
Yeah, KOI. More than 7 million users were relatively possibly affected by this based on the number of downloads of the plugin. Upon review, it looks like the security company who had this proxy privacy plugin has removed it from the App Store on Google for Chrome.
Right.
But I think this is a great reminder that we have moved beyond the keep your computer safe, have antivirus in your program, don't download weird programs on your computer. But now, because everything is web-based, everything's in the cloud, everything is accessible from the browser.
Yeah.
And we're seeing hackers, we're seeing scammers,
Yeah.
but even intentional or unintentional mistakes can leave you quite vulnerable depending on how you use your browser, what you add to your browser. If you add AI bots or if you add privacy tools, they may not always do what you intend them to do. And privacy, or more so browser plugins, don't have the same security protocols as, say, apps you download as an actual program on your main computer. So do be careful.
You know what, though, Brandon? I'm finding that a lot of people today, privacy is not a big issue to them. Like we just wrote an article where there's a big thing trending because it's Christmas in 2 days. Woo! Tomorrow's Christmas Eve. There's a thing trending on Facebook right now where you can put a picture into ChatGPT of your kid and then ask them to turn it into a coloring cartoon with Elf on a shelf, and then you print it off, right? And it's free, it costs you nothing. But what people don't understand is that when you put your child's face into that, what they're doing is they're using that to help train their AI.
Yeah.
Right? So you're giving up privacy issues with respect to that.
I agree. People don't care about privacy anymore.
It
depends on the kind of privacy.
Yeah.
So I posted a short on one of our previous shows. We talked about how the Hub premium accounts,
The Hub.
histories were being published, or not being, but they were being blackmailed because there was a security flaw.
Yeah.
That short video we posted got a lot more views than a lot of other things we talk about.
Right.
Because people care about
People were worried.
People care about privacy depending on what it is. If it's their own personal life, in regards to
Human sexuality.
the content they watch,
Hub.
yes, then they care. But if it's like what I had for breakfast or what I look like, people don't care about that.
Well, I wouldn't go so far as to say what I look like, right? Because I think what I look like, again, I wrote in another article. I'm going to publish it after Christmas. It's good to go right now. Where like they just had a AI beauty pageant where people designed AI and they've narrowed it down to 10 finalists. And they're going to pick the best looking AI model. They're all nothing real about it, right? And so what's happening now is this AI slop. People are seeing this, and now kids, and so a lot of companies are now, instead of using an influencer, a human influencer, they're using AI influencers. Well, number one, because they're cheaper. They'll do exactly what it is. You don't have to worry about paying them. They'll do exactly what it is you want them to do.
They're not going to say something politically wrong.
Correct, but they're so perfect in every way that young people and even adults are now comparing like body comparison. That was an issue with legacy social media, right? Where people would look at other people and look at their bodies and go, I'm too heavy. So, all of a sudden we got eating disorders.
That was the issue with magazines in the 90s.
I know. But now AI has supercharged that. When you look at some of these models that have been designed, you look at these and you cannot tell that it's AI generated. You would swear they are real people, but they are perfect in every way, right? Not a blemish. It's just unbelievable. So, anyways.
Oh, I read a story where an individual, a student, had to purposefully put mistakes in their academic writing in order to not be. Yeah, you saw that?
Yeah, I read that too.
Yeah,
because they got called out, right?
Yeah.
Like teachers are now, although they're being told do not use AI detection to kind of identify, because there's too many false positives, right? That the student, they wrote an article that was so perfect that the teacher said that's AI generated because it's just too perfect. And the student's going, no, it's not. It's my own work, right? And in the end, the student was able to prove it was their work. So what some young people are doing now, I mean, I demonstrated that, right? When I was doing that thing on AI where, where I demonstrate for parents, I use ChatGPT, write me a book report for Catcher in the Rye as if I'm a grade 10 student turning it in as a paper, but make sure there's a couple of misspells in there so teachers actually think it's my work and not AI generated, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so we're now seeing people like M dashes is another good example, right? Like traditional writers used M dashes all the time because it is a proper form of grammatic use of an M dash when you're writing, right?
Yeah, and AI was trained on proper documents.
Yeah. So as a result of that, a lot of these writers who were using M dashes were being accused of using AI to write now. So it's rare. Like, I don't know if you've ever read a lot of stuff you don't see a lot of M dashes anymore. They've disappeared, right?
Because professional writers, they will take them out.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they don't want to be called for AI.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, yeah.
Anyways, just my thoughts.
Anyways, those are our thoughts, some suggestions, some ideas, some advice.
Christmas Eve tomorrow.
It is.
Santa's coming.
Yes.
Santa's coming. I'm excited. I'm overexcited. I was at a coffee shop today and Santa visited the coffee shop today. Very cool. Very cool. It was very cool to see the kids and the looks on their faces when they saw Santa in the coffee shop. So, pretty cool.
On that note, thank you all so much, and we'll see you all next week on any updates.
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, and happy whatever it is you celebrate. See you next week, everybody.
Bye-bye for now.
Good afternoon, Dr. Court. How you brought yourself to where you are today?
Wanting to be generous and accommodating.
Work with young people.
We decided to do some background research on these three major mobile ISPs, what's clearly prohibited and could in fact be a violation of their terms of service.
We thought this would be an opportunity to create a video about general buying and selling safety tips on the internet.
Created a version 2 that they call the Donashi Scholar, and which is specifically designed for youth.
About a new mobile phone that was on the market called the Wise Phone.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Unanswered Questions. Sometimes we just don't get enough time to answer all the amazing questions from students during our live broadcast. Recent bug in Meta, Facebook, and Instagram proves you cannot always trust a password. AI cybercrime is happening right now and is likely going to be happening more. We wish to recognize these extraordinary and outstanding people by presenting them with the White Hatter Medallion.